6 of them died when 2 cars collided head-on and at full speed on the Trans-Canada Highway outside Moncton around 2:30 this morning. It took more than 5 hours to clear the highway, and the accident reconstruction experts are still trying to figure out exactly how and why this happened.
Police say it's the worst accident in years. 2 cars collided on the highway at Moncton about 2:30 in the morning.
Right now it's very, very tough to tell whether there's alcohol or speed or falling asleep or inattentive driving. We feel that the eastbound vehicle was on the wrong side of the road.
1 car burned in the ditch. Some victims died at the scene, others later in hospital. RCMP Corporal Mike Reed is an accident reconstructionist.
We have 2 vehicles that were involved in this head-on collision. The westbound vehicle coming from Fredericton crossed over into the westbound lane, and we can see just adjacent to my van, you can see a pencil-thin tire scuff mark which curves back towards the center of the roadway and leads right up into this area right in here, where we have a lot of tire scuffing and gouging and interaction between the 2 vehicles. And this area here would be the area of impact.
Police are still waiting for dental records to confirm the identities of 2 victims. The other dead are 22-year-old Linda DeBonaventure of Moncton, 19-year-old Daniel Burke of Shediac Bridge, 22-year-old Wendy Surrett from the Skiduk area, and 19-year-old Kyle Candlemeyer of Moncton. This stretch of the highway is notorious for bad accidents. Police and motorists are both grateful this 2-lane section will be replaced by 4 lanes this fall. The accident reconstructionist has this piece of advice for all motorists. If you're ever in a similar situation, car in the wrong lane coming straight at you, your chances of survival are much better if you swerve to the side of the road to avoid the car, not the middle.
All right, Ron, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
ATV's Ron Shaw in.
The crash happened on Moncton around 2 o'clock. MITV's Courtney Pasternak was at the scene and files this report.
The crash happened at about 2:45 this morning on the Trans-Canada Highway in Moncton. Police say 2 cars hit head-on.
The eastbound vehicle crossed over onto the wrong side of the road, and that vehicle attempted to go back towards the eastbound lane, which would be the proper lane for him, and the 2 vehicles collided in and about the double center line of the roadway. The eastbound vehicle continued on in towards the ditch, rolled over onto the side. The vehicle caught fire, and the occupants were burnt inside of the vehicle.
6 people believed to be from the Moncton and Shediac area were killed in the crash. The highway was closed for about 6 hours as the cars were removed and police scoured the area for evidence. Police say there may be several contributing factors to this accident, but that it may be several days, even weeks, before they pinpoint any one of them.
We would be looking at alcohol, we'd be looking at falling asleep, inattentive driving, speeding, the whole gambit.
While police are still investigating, they say driver error is to blame.
There's no reason for the vehicle to be on this side of the highway. There's no mechanical reason, there's no tire failures.
This employee at a nearby gas station says he's only seen 2 other accidents along this stretch of the Trans-Canada, but says this one's the worst.
This is the biggest one I've seen in the 7 years that I've been here.
Police have released the names of 4 of the victims. They are waiting for dental records to arrive from out of province for the 2 others. On the Trans-Canada Highway in Moncton, Courtney Pasternak, MITV News.
The 4 identified victims are 22-year-old Wendy Surrett of Skiduk, as well Daniel Burke, 23 years of age. He was also a medical student apparently at Dalhousie University in Halifax. 23-year-old Linda DeBonaventura, and finally 19-year-old Kyle Candlemeyer of Moncton. The identities of the other 2 to be released tomorrow, as Courtney mentioned.
Crews cleaned up debris and police tried to find out what caused the accident. It happened at 2:45 this morning on the Trans-Canada Highway. 2 cars hit head-on. Corporal Marty Leclerc of Moncton RCMP explains what they think happened.
The accident happened approximately half of a kilometer east of the Big Stop restaurant on the Trans-Canada Highway. There were 2 vehicles involved, one proceeding east and one proceeding west. It appears at this time that the eastbound vehicle was on the wrong side of the road. This is a road that has a third climbing lane, and the accident happened in that lane. Both vehicles were occupied by 3 passengers, or 3 people, and at this point all 6 have died.
All the victims are from the Moncton-Shediac area. And there was another tragic highway accident on Prince Edward Island in this...
6 people died when a car and truck collided in the Trans-Canada Highway. Among them, 22-year-old Linda de Bonaventure of Moncton, 19-year-old Daniel Bork of Shediac Bridge, 22-year-old Wendy Surrett from the Skadook area, and 19-year-old Kyle Candlemeyer of Moncton. Police are using dental records to identify the other victims. Officers are also trying to figure out exactly what happened.
Right now it's very, very tough to tell whether there's alcohol or speed or falling asleep or inattentive driving. We feel that the eastbound vehicle was on the wrong side of the road.
Police and motorists tell us they're both grateful that this particular 2-lane stretch of road where the accident happened is going to be replaced by a 4-lane stretch in the fall. David Milgard
and their life.
Leger of Moncton and 17-year-old Jeremiah Frank of Chatham were the victims. Police are still trying to figure out what caused that crash, but no charges will be laid. No one survived the accident. The Halifax doctor charged with first-degree murder.
Moncton yesterday, 19-year-old Carrie Leger of Moncton and 17-year-old Jeremiah Frank of Chatham were also victims. A police investigation to determine the cause of the accident is continuing. One person has been killed in a fiery head-on collision near Bathurst.
Car that crossed the center line had been drinking when he left a party. They say they tried but were unable to stop the man from driving.
The search for a man with an automatic weapon in St. Paul may have played a role in the tragedy.
The accident last Thursday killed 6 people. Police won't confirm alcohol was a factor, but the victims' friends say they tried to stop them from driving home because they had too much to drink. Courtney Pasternak now with this exclusive report.
It's been less than a week since 17-year-old Melissa Refuse watched her 2 roommates and a friend walk out the door for the last time. It all started here at a party in this apartment.
I remember I was talking to Kyle for a few minutes and he was really drunk. He was staggering all over the place. Couldn't talk that good, and I never thought they would have went out for a drive. I thought they would have stayed here because he asked to sleep here because he didn't want to drive. He was too intoxicated. So he asked if he could sleep here, and we said he could. And then next morning I woke up and none of them were here.
At about 2:45 last Thursday morning, police were called out to the Trans-Canada Highway at Lutz Mountain. Kyle Candlemeyer, Carrie Leger, and Jeremiah Frank were all killed when their vehicle driving in the wrong lane hit an oncoming car. Their car flipped over, burst into flames, and burnt all 3 boys beyond recognition. 2 young women and a male in the other car were also killed. Jamie Terry says he also tried to stop his friends from driving.
Me and Darlene were trying to discourage him and saying, you know, like, it's late and you guys have had a little too much to drink.
Friends say Kyle Candlemeyer was driving when the group left the party. They say he had just had his car repaired and was determined to drive around despite his condition. At about 2 a.m., he and 3 others piled into his Mustang. 1 girl was dropped off before the accident. Friends say they have no doubt as to the condition of the boys when they left the apartment. What's still very unclear to all of them is why they came all the way out here to Lutz Mountain when the friend they were driving home lived only minutes away. Police won't confirm whether alcohol was a contributing factor in either car. They say without anyone to lay charges against, autopsies on these 6 young people are not a priority. But these friends can't stop thinking about the last time they saw their mates.
Just kind of as a joke, Jeremiah had said, you know, if we get in an accident, this will protect me, and he picked up Darlene's construction helmet and put it on his head, and they went out the door.
Carrie Leger's empty bedroom remains intact, but it's perhaps this vodka bottle, emptied that horrifying night, that serves as the cruelest reminder.
I've made a promise to myself never to drink again.
I'm never drinking again either. I can't even look at the stuff now. I'm never getting in a car with anyone who's intoxicated because I don't want that to happen to me.
In Moncton, Courtney Pasternak, MITV News.